As countries develop and economies grow, a quiet but powerful transformation occurs, not just in infrastructure or technology, but in what people eat every day. This global dietary shift, often called the nutrition transition, reflects a move away from traditional, whole food diets toward more energy-dense, ultra-processed foods. While development brings undeniable improvements in quality of life, it also introduces new risks, particularly when it comes to body composition and the rise of obesity. For much of human history, diets were based on locally sourced staples: vegetables, legumes, whole grains, fruits, fish, and unprocessed animal products. These traditional diets were often high in fiber, relatively low in sugar, and composed of minimally refined ingredients. People cooked from scratch, relied on seasonal produce, and ate in ways that were closely aligned with the rhythms of their environment and culture. Body weights were generally stable, and obesity was rare. But with urbanization, increased income, and the globalization of food systems, these patterns change. Markets fill with packaged snacks, sugary beverages, fast food, and convenience meals. Supermarkets replace local markets, and global food brands edge out small producers. As life becomes busier and more mechanized, the demand for quick, tasty, and shelf-stable foods grows, and the industry delivers. The result is a global diet increasingly dominated by ultra-processed products high in sugar, refined flour, seed oils, and chemical additives. This transition has profound consequences for body composition. As diets shift, people consume more calories, often without realizing it, while physical activity tends to decline as jobs become more sedentary and transportation more motorized. The combination of excess energy intake and reduced energy expenditure leads to increases in body fat, particularly visceral fat, which surrounds internal organs and poses significant health risks. Simultaneously, diets low in quality protein and essential nutrients contribute to loss of lean muscle mass, a condition sometimes referred to as sarcopenic obesity, where body fat is high, but muscle is low. What's striking is how rapidly this transformation unfolds. In just a few decades, countries that once struggled with undernutrition now face dual burdens: persistent malnutrition in vulnerable populations, alongside skyrocketing rates of overweight and obesity in urban and middle-class groups. Nations across Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa now report childhood obesity rates rivaling those of Western countries. This is not a reflection of improved health, but of dietary shifts driven more by industrialization than by nutrition science. Yet within this challenge lies an opportunity. The causes of this transition are not mysterious or irreversible. In fact, many communities are beginning to push back. Governments are experimenting with soda taxes, front-of-package warning labels, restrictions on junk food marketing to children, and subsidies for fruits and vegetables. Grassroots movements are promoting local agriculture, traditional recipes, and food literacy. People are realizing that progress doesn't have to mean giving up health. It can mean combining the best of modern convenience with the wisdom of past generations. Technology, too, can play a positive role. Smartphone apps now help people track their food quality and quantity, while online platforms make it easier to learn cooking skills or access fresh ingredients. In some places, urban farming and community kitchens are reviving interest in food preparation and dietary mindfulness, even in fast-paced cities. These solutions aren't always easy, but they're growing, and they suggest that dietary transitions don't have to end in obesity and disease. It's also important to understand that economic growth doesn't inevitably cause obesity. The issue isn't income, it's what becomes available and normalized as economies evolve. If development prioritizes public health, access to real food can improve rather than decline. If cities are designed with walkability, green spaces, and community-centered markets, active living and whole food diets can thrive. The danger arises when economic interests override nutritional well-being, when processed food becomes cheaper and more convenient than fresh, and when traditional eating patterns are abandoned without replacement. Global dietary transitions are shaping the bodies and futures of billions. But these transitions are not fate. They are choices, policies, and cultural shifts that can be influenced. The challenge is urgent, but the path forward is hopeful. By combining the tools of modern development with a renewed respect for food quality, nutrition education, and public health, we can slow and even reverse the obesity tide. In the end, the goal is not to return to the past, but to forge a better balance, one where prosperity doesn't come at the cost of health, where convenience doesn't mean compromise, and where food serves not just as fuel, but as a foundation for strength, vitality, and long-term well-being.